Hey everybody, welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie Jessica.
So we have our September wrap up to do for you guys today. I am so shocked that it's the end of September already.
I know, it's crazy.
So we have our top 10 books, 5 each, from the month of September to tell you guys about. So we do those in order from 5 to 1. Which is really hard sometimes, but that's how we do it. But before we get started with that, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. We are still doing our Road to 1K giveaway. And Mandy, what are we giving away when we hit 750?
9 Minutes by Beth Flynn. This was a top read for Jessica and I in July. We still think about this book. It will definitely be a top read for the year. It is signed and we have some other things to go with it. You definitely want to check out that book and you definitely want to win it.
Yes, you do. You definitely do. Okay, so let's talk about your September, my September. So tell me your stats.
Okay, I read 34 books and I had 7 5-star books.
Okay, that's comparable because I read 40 books and I have 10 5 stars. This was really hard choosing 5 out of the 10 that I want to talk about.
I struggled with that too. Out of the 7, I was like, ooh. And so if I come back and try this again in a week, I might even change it a little bit because
I
was
changed
like,
it.
ooh.
I know, because I changed it between last night and this morning. So in a week, it could be different. But when you have that many 5 stars, like on the months that we have not a lot of 5 stars, we're like, oh man, this sucks. I only have, 5 stars. But that makes the decision easier. Where a month like this,
Well, sometimes I've had more 5 stars, but I still know which ones were my like top 5 stars.
yeah,
This was like, ooh, I really want to
I
include
know.
all of
I'm even
them.
sitting here, like while I'm sitting here talking to you, going, did I make the right decisions?
Yes.
Yeah, it was really, I want them all in my top 5. So, but we do post our top ones on our TikTok page and on Instagram. So all of our 5-star reads. So
just sound like you have a smoker's cough going on or something.
Someone here still has not recovered her voice from being live for 2 days at work last weekend and then having our live show and recording the following day on our channel. So sorry guys, I know I sound different, but it's getting better than it was. I'm not as squeaky. So okay, so why don't you start us off, Mandy? What was your number 5?
Okay, my number 5 was Second Down Darling by Lex Martin. This was Jake and Charlotte. This is a football romance. This is second chance romance, and it's a single dad. So Jake and Charlotte were best friends through high school. And then one night, Jake hooked up with Charlotte's sister, Dakota, and got her pregnant. And they all go off to college together. And Charlotte is kind of more of a mom to the baby than her sister is. Her sister is very concerned with like her fame and Instagram and all of that stuff. And so her and Jake almost act like a couple raising the baby together without, like the sexual side of like a relationship. But everything else, she's kind of always there for him. And she realizes like her poor little heart can just not take this anymore with him being with Dakota and her just being like this third wheel because of how much she like is in love with him. So she just leaves kind of abruptly and basically cuts them out of her life. So we fast forward, I think I'm looking at my notes. I think it was about 2 years later. And Jake and Dakota are no longer together. Jake is basically a single dad, and he takes his son and he moves to the college that she's at, but he does not know she's there, and they run into each other. And she has had no communications with her family, so she doesn't know what's going on with him or anything like that. And he's pretty mad at her because she upped and left him, and they were like best friends. But she just, her heart couldn't take it anymore.
I don't blame her. What's with sleeping with your sister? That's a huge no-no. Shame on the sister. That is a huge no-no.
So there's stuff going on that I was like about to say something that I feel like it might be a little bit of a
Okay, then that's
spoiler.
not. But I'm still just telling you, that's still a no. Just saying, as someone who has a sister, that is a no. Okay.
Her sister was not around through high school. She was filming a TV show and went to a private school.
Yeah, well, still, I guess
So
this is
he didn't know it was her sister.
okay.
But
Okay.
sister.
Okay, sister is not good. No. So, okay. So my number 5 was is Cute But Psycho by Beatrix Hollow. So this is a paranormal reverse harem. You have Bree, who is our heroine, and she is a little half vampire, and she doesn't know it. She's been seeing this psychiatrist for a while, and she has become obsessive with her psychiatrist. Like, she's obsessed with him. And so she stalks him and she follows him. Well, her psychiatrist is Dr. Orson, and Dr. Orson is a serial killing vampire. And she stalks him one night and like all the way to his house and gets into his basement and finds his, like, quote unquote murder room. And he's doing something to people there. And instead of this turning her off, she's like, I want to taste the blood. Because
how is it quote unquote murder room?
I don't know if it's like a real murder room, but it's downstairs in his house. I mean, I'm calling it a murder room. I don't think she did, okay? Anyhow, I'm classifying it as a murder room. Anyhow, things ensue, things happen. And so he wipes her memory and he sends her, because, vampires got powers, sends her to this asylum for paranormal creatures. Now, they just think it's an asylum when she gets there, but she finds out it's for these paranormal creatures. Now, the nurses at this place are crazy themselves, and they're like, now we know you believe that you're a unicorn, but you're not. And the thing is like an actual unicorn. So, not that there was a unicorn there, I'm just saying. So when she's there, Dr. Orson actually practices there. And she meets 2 other guys. One is a shifter and one is a basilisk. And you can't touch his skin because it would like immediately kill you. So he keeps covered from head to toe. And the shifter is bigger than everybody. And he is kept like in his own little basement area. And he is experimented on quite a bit. Loved the book. Loved the story. They're totally revolting through the whole thing. It is very dark and it's gruesome, but you don't realize it because of the funny elements in the book. You don't realize how dark the book really is. So definitely check triggers for it, but it's a total Halloween read. And I loved it. Obviously, it's my number 5. So I did enjoy it quite a bit.
Okay.
Okay.
So my 4th pick, number 4 for the month of September, is Unruly by Kay Webster. It is a duet. So what do I tell you? I can't.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you about Untamed, which was one of my picks for August. And I'll just briefly tell you about Untamed again, I guess. So really, you need to start reading the wild. So first off, do you like taboo? If you answer yes, then continue. Do you like really taboo where there's like some family relations? If you say yes, then continue. So read the wild if you said yes to both of those. And then read Free. And then you're going to read the Untamed, because we see the kids of the couples from Wild and Free in Untamed. It focuses mostly on the couple from Wild's kids, but there are kids from Free in there as well. And it is, it's about their kids. It's very taboo. It's got the family stuff going on, but this is probably, Unruly has probably more triggers in it than most, if not all, of the books that I've ever read. So you're definitely going to want to check triggers, even if you're like, oh, taboo is fine. If you have any triggers, you're going to want to check them, because there are a lot that happen in Unruly. It is pretty intense. It was like nothing I've ever read by Kay Webster before. So it kind of threw me for a loop of where we went with this story, but it was fantastic. And when Unruly was over, I was like, I need more. And she totally teases more with her author's note at the end. But I want to read more in this world. I just really, really enjoyed it so much. It was fantastic.
I need to read that.
You do. It's so good.
But like I said, I've had where I'm working like, well, this last week's been 12-hour days. So I can't sit and read a book this week. I had to listen to all my books. I would love audio. She's got audio coming out for The Wild.
Everyone has to work, Jessica. Stop using it as an excuse and read the darn books.
I don't do that like that. I like to read while I'm at work. Come on. Or when I'm not at work, I can get more in. I hate breaking a book up. Like, I just want to read it in one sitting. Anyhow.
Okay. Your number 4.
So my number 4 is Rouge by Greer Rivers. Now, this is a retelling. I read this past week. And this is a Romeo and Juliet retelling, but it's also a little bit of the Moulin Rouge, the play that Moulin Rouge is based off of, retelling, which I feel like it's more Moulin Rouge than it is Romeo and Juliet, but I can see both. I can really see both. So Greer Rivers, this author, is going to be in Vegas when we go to live in Vegas. And so I'm excited to meet her. But this book actually takes place in Vegas as well, which is really kind of cool. So this is about Lacey and Keen. So it is an Irish, it's not mafia, it's like organized crime. So it's the same idea. These guys run the town. I mean, let's be honest, there's a secret society going on with this one. So Lacey was once engaged to Keen, and her dad had arranged that. Well, her dad broke off the engagement, or somebody broke off the engagement, and her dad is now in prison. Awaiting trial. And so her mom and her dad and her have arranged for her to marry the Baron, who is another up and coming guy in Vegas who like runs everything. And the Baron has agreed to testify for her father if she will marry him. Now, he is a very mean guy. He is way older than her. He's like twice her age, she says. And he just wants what he can get for like the social aspect of it. He's going to run for political office and stuff too. Really not nice guy. And so she's engaged to him. Well, on the night of her bachelorette party, they go to this strip club. Her parents own this casino, which is Moulin Rouge. And there's a strip club in there. So they're going to go to the strip club. It's like ladies' night. And she's arranged with the MC, because she's a ballet dancer, to be brought up on stage to do this dance with one of the dancers. Now, the guy that comes out to do this has, because this is like her last hurrah, he's wearing a mask, so she can't see who it is. Now you have Keen. He has been obsessed with her since he was first found out about her and was engaged to her. He has, like, when their engagement was broken off, it really affected him negatively. And so he is just obsessed with this girl. So he is the one in the mask there. Now, he's Irish. He's got the Irish accent. It's all yummy, yummy, yummy. He calls her all little Irish things. I just love it. So that night, they end up getting married in Vegas. And he's like, okay, now you're mine, so you can't go back. But things happen where she still has the Baron to deal with, and he's not a good guy. And they have to keep their marriage a secret. So this is their story. I loved it so much. I read it yesterday. I still can't stop thinking about it. I loved it. I'm waiting for the third book, because this is the second book in the series. The first one's Phantom. Then there's this one. The third book is a Sweeney Todd retelling. And that will be out the week that we go to Vegas. Ooh. It will be out middle of October, but we can order it for Vegas.
I need to read something by her.
Yeah. She's only got those 3, and then another series that I haven't heard of. And it's not very many. I think there's 3. So I don't think she's got a lot of books out. But these are the ones that are like really popular. And these are good because they're retellings, but they're done differently. They're just unique.
Okay. It's fitting that we are doing September wrap up, because I am freezing.
I know. I put a sweater on and we're going to go apple picking.
The sun is out, but it is not warm outside.
It's a typical fall day. All of a sudden, the weather changed like that.
I think we need to change our heat pump over to like heat.
To actual heat. I haven't turned our heat on. This is the month. October is the month that we play the will she or won't she game. Like, I try to beat the thermostat. Like, can I keep the kids warm if I just tell them to put sweatshirts on and not turn the heat on for the year?
Yeah.
So, okay, what's your number 3?
Okay, my number 3 is Neva Altai's Fractured Souls. This is Asha. Is that how we decided that we say her name?
Asha.
It looks like it should be Asia, but it's like Aja.
Something like that. We're gonna call her Asha. Nobody else can pronounce it either. Okay.
Pavel?
Pavel.
Pavel. But technically the E should make the A say its name.
It's Russian. Mandy, did you not learn anything from your father who spent a lot of time in Russia?
No.
And spoke Russian?
I didn't.
Oh, honey. Okay.
Anyway, so these two people.
Do you feel the conviction now that like maybe you should know?
Anyway, no, because my dad did not want me to learn Czech or Russian.
Really? Is that why?
He was very set on that. He came to America, he got his US citizenship, and he was American. So we are.
Oh, that fell over. Your dad's there going, screw you. No, I'm kidding.
So we are American. We will speak English.
But then he married a Russian woman and they spoke Russian in the house. That's funny.
My dad was a confusing man.
He really was.
We should leave it at that before all my books start falling.
He was unique. Okay, so Pavel and Asha.
Pavel and Asha. Okay. So Asha, this all happens at the very beginning of the book, so no spoilers. She was kidnapped. She has been in this sex trafficking type ring thing for 2 months where she's forced to go out with clients. And they keep them on drugs so they're more compliant and reliant on them. And she has been trying to wean herself off of these drugs so that she can start planning her escape. And she's with this client and something happens and she uses that to her advantage and she bolts. She's completely naked. She runs out an exit door into an alley and Pavel almost runs her over. And so he goes and helps her. He takes her home and talks to, because he's part of the mafia, he talks to their mafia doctor, gets her checked out, and just, he has this, like, he feels something for her, this connection. So he decides he's gonna let her stay with him. Like I said, keep her in our 1 minute Bookrecs, but he's not really keeping her. Like, she's free to go, but she doesn't want to go. She begs him not to call her family. And it turns out her family is part of the other mafia. So this is not going to go well when people find out that he's had her all this time. So this is their story. It's definitely a different feel in the Perfectly Imperfect series, but it was just spot on with my expectations of the series. I absolutely loved it. Just a side note, if you're really enjoying the Perfectly Imperfect series and that's a book you just don't want to read, Neva says that you can skip that and you won't really miss out on anything in the series.
Yeah. But it was still good. It was really, really good.
It was very good.
Yep.
That's why it's my number 3 read.
I know.
Of September.
Okay, so my number 3 is also Mafia. And this is Savage Hearts by J.T. Geisinger. So this is the 3rd book in her Mafia series. I can't remember the name of the series off the top of my head. And it's not on the book cover, so I wouldn't know that. Anyhow, it can be read as a standalone. But this is the story of Riley and Malik. And Riley is the little sister to our heroine from the 2nd book, if that matters to anybody. And she gets a call from her sister that she's going to be getting married and she needs to come to where they're at. And so she gets picked up. It's a real secretive thing to get her there. Now, she is nothing like her sister. Her sister is like spotlight and, she's the shopper and she, is like the, influencer type girl, right? Like that one that's out there and the makeup to the nines. And Riley's not like that. Riley's like messy bun, sweatpants, where's my book? And so Malik is hired as a hitman to kill the fiance to Riley's sister, who was our hero from the 2nd book, because there's a rival. He's brought that, and that guy is Irish mafia. And so when he's like scoping him out in his scopes, to try and line up the hit and stuff, he sees Riley getting out of the car at the location that they're at. And he at first thinks she's like homeless. He thinks that they're like helping the poor. And then because she's like been traveling for 2 days or a day, you know, and she's just nasty and just her hair needs to be washed and the whole thing. Then he sees her later on and her sister's giving her a little bit of a makeover. And he's like, oh, they're bringing her in as a third. She's a prostitute. And so he sees her at a function, or he like sneaks up behind her at a function, and he offers to get her out. He's like, you're better than this. You don't have to do this. And he gives her a whole bunch of cash. And she's like, what the heck is going on? So he stalks her a little bit because there's something about her. He just can't, there's just something about her, right? Like she's just different. Then he ends up captive, like it ends up being a captive thing. He ends up taking her back to Russia after he kidnaps her. And this is their story. This is probably my favorite out of all 4 of the books in the series. I really like this one a lot. So, which is why it's my number 3 for the month.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So number 2. Well, Neva Altai did it again. So my number 2 read for the month of September is Ruined Secrets. And this is Isabel and Luca. This has everything. It has amnesia, it has arranged marriage, and it has age gap. So I was in heaven. So Isabel is 19 and her grandpa arranges for her marriage to Luca, who she has been in love with since she was 7. Luca is significantly older than her, not like grotesquely older. I think he's like 33, right? Am I right?
Something like that. Yeah,
I think so.
30s.
So, and he's just like, oh, she's a teenager. There's like, but he finds her very attractive. He likes her, but he's repulsed by himself because she's still a teenager. So he is very cold and distant to her, which she is like just devastated by, because she's been in love with him all this time and now she's married to him and he's like keeping her at an arm's length. He also has a daughter. And then there is an accident and he wakes up with no memory. And so Isabel's like, well, this is my chance. I'm live. You live me.
Snooze, you lose.
But with that being said, he runs like some very important, like he's like her grandpa has put him in the position of being like the, what was it called? Like,
are they Italian? They're Italian. So the capo. Or
no, he's like the head now.
He'll be the Don. He'll be the head.
The Don. Thank you.
Yeah.
And so he is very important. And so she's very concerned for his safety. And his brother also knows that he has amnesia. So the two of them work together to like fill him in and keep him able to function while they're hoping his memory comes back. I absolutely loved this one. It was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
Okay. Yeah. It has the finger too.
Yes.
If you've read it, you know. If you haven't read it, go read it and you'll know.
Yes. Read the whole series. It's so good. The whole
series. Yeah. Neva Altai is just hitting it out of the park with these books.
Yes.
Okay. So my number 2 is very dark. This is a definitely check your trigger situation, but this is The Sacrifice by Chantal Tessier. This is the 3rd book in her series. What is this series called? This is the Lord's series, I think. Lord's, I don't know. I can't remember what it is, but this is the dark ones, right? And so this one, we've been teased. This is Tyson's story. We've been teased about Tyson for the first 2 books. Like he is like the black sheep of the Lords, and which is the secret society at this college. And he graduated years before. My throat is really not liking this. He graduated a few years before, and there was this scandal when he graduated because his chosen for that year, which is a senior year, they get to choose a girl to be like their bedmate all year long, and they can do whatever they want with them. His chosen was murdered during the time that she was his chosen. And so he is, he runs a nightclub. He kind of gets to do what he wants. And he's the black sheep of the Lords that's there. And so we see him helping our heroes from book 1 and book 2. So we've seen him quite a bit. Well, then you have Lake. So Lake this is her wedding day. She's going to get married to the man the Lord that her parents arranged for her to marry. She didn't really want to marry him, but you don't get a choice in this society, in this world. And so she is going to marry this guy. And so on her wedding day, he doesn't show up, but Tyson does. And so she ends up marrying Tyson. And it's just a real political move on his part. But her big sister was the girl who was murdered, and they believe that Tyson did it. And so she's walking into a situation that's not really cool. So I loved this one. Obviously, it's my number 2. I keep saying that about all of them because I did love them, but it's my number 2 for the month. This is my favorite in the series. So whatever you have to do, read the other 2, read The Ritual, and then read Sinner, then read The Chosen, or The Sacrifice. That's what this one, The Sacrifice, because oh my goodness, it was good. Very dark, but very good. So yeah, and we'll see her in Vegas as well.
All right.
Mm-hmm. Okay, your number 1.
My number 1 read of September. Let's hear it for Neva Altai.
Yeah, she's taking the cake.
She is. So my top 3 go to her. So this is Burned Dreams. It's number 7. So it's the last one that's out in the series. The next one comes out at the end of October. Like Jessica said, go read the whole series. It is phenomenal. So this is about Alessandro and Ravenna.
Yeah.
He calls her Ravi a lot, which I like. So Az has been plotting his revenge, and we see him a little bit in some of the other books, just little tiny bit though. And he's been plotting his revenge for 8 years on Rocco. And he is hired as Rocco's wife's bodyguard because Rocco keeps killing all of his wife's bodyguards because he thinks that they talk to her or show interest or that sort of thing. And so normally in these types of books, we're like, ooh, jealous, possessive, that's hot. No, Rocco is a slime ball. He's horrible. He's abusive, and he takes abuse to another level. Like we do not like Rocco. So Az is there because he's going to take down Rocco. But he starts to kind of fall for Rocco's wife. And that's the exact opposite of what he is doing there. And so there's this conflict in him on what's going on. And then she's just trying to survive this horrific situation she has found herself in, while also starting to kind of have some feelings for him. But oh, it's just so good. So good. So good.
Okay. So my number 1 is The Wrong Bride by Katharina Mora. And so, this one was just, yes. Okay. So this one is about Raven and Aries. So Aries and Raven were there. This is the first book in her Windsor series. And so Aries is the Windsor. And he was engaged, or at least had an arranged marriage with Raven when they were younger. The grandmothers did this. Like they wanted them together. They wanted to merge these 2 families. Well, Aries starts dating Raven's older sister. And I don't know how much older she is, but just a little bit. And so because they're already dating, the grandma changed the contract so that he could actually marry the sister. So Aries has a production company, and he is, he produces movies and shows, and the sister wants to be an actress. So she's out there living her best life. Nobody knows that they're engaged because she doesn't want the industry to think that she has, that he's influenced her career in any way, even though he has gotten her several roles. She doesn't want people to realize that because she's an up and coming actress, and she's making it big. In the meanwhile, you've got Raven, who has her own, she's a model, but she also has her own clothing line, and she's making a name for herself, and she's using her parents' funding. Like they get money, the family money to do that, but she's building her brand and her business, and she's going to quit modeling soon because she wants to run her clothing line completely. So the sister has put off the wedding several times with Aries. In the meantime, Raven and Aries are good friends, and she has feelings for him, and she always has. And she really regrets the fact that she didn't put her foot down and say, no, that I'm going to marry him when the relationship was changed, or when the contract was changed. So her sister decides that they're like several days out from the wedding, and the sister decides that she is not going to marry him right now. She doesn't want, like, she can't leave her job, and she's she's acting, she's doing something, she can't leave, and so she's just going to postpone the wedding. And the grandmas say, no, you're going to get married, and if you're not there, then Raven's going to marry him. And Raven's telling her, you have to be there, and the sister's like, no, they'll just postpone it again like they did last time. They're not going to make a big deal out of it. It's not a big thing. So the day comes, sister doesn't show up, so Raven has to marry Aries. Although she's not feeling too bad about it, let me tell you what. So she decides that if this is the case, then he needs to be all in. Like, this is his wife, and he needs to be all in. They don't believe in divorce. And so the sister comes back, and she's like, wait a minute, why'd you marry him? And she's like, I told you, somebody had to, and they were going to make me, and you wouldn't listen. And so here's where we are. And so the sister, is like, but Aries, you love me, we're together. It is a whole thing. It is all the drama. It is all the angst. It is good. Yeah. Good. So good. I had to message Katharina and be like, I need to order this book. Can you add this one onto my pre-order list? Because I think I'm going to just have to buy disposable clothes, because I'm not going to be able to put anything into my suitcase but books. I'm just
You're gonna be wearing all your. Do you remember in Friends when Joey puts on all of Chandler's clothes? That's gonna be you, like, trading it on the plane with all your clothes on.
All my clothes on. Oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm gonna get all these things home. Anyhow, so those are our favorite reads from September. So we had a really good month as far as reads go.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
So comment below, what was your top read of September? Have you read any of the books we've read? What did you think of them? Let us know all the book stuff. We want those comments desperately. Yes. We love comments. And then make sure to check back on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. I almost forgot what day for new videos from us.
Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next video.